This is what we're all afraid of. I mean, there's old people, young people waking up in the morning and all they've got on their mind is what's happening in this country, what's happening to us. Running the country into the ground. Since the Queen died and he got in, England is in a fast tsunami going nowhere. At this moment in time, I'd say for reform, but do you know what I mean?
Breaking news from London. What you're seeing today isn't a simple protest. It's a full-scale uprising. Around 150,000 people have filled the streets. Breaking news again. 150,000 citizens. One city. One message. Protect our daughters. This is what happens when a country reaches its limit. London streets are packed with people who refuse to stay quiet any longer. This isn't a rally. It isn't a casual march. This is a turning point. It all began with a shocking event in Oxford 3 weeks ago. A 15-year-old girl was attacked in a crime so horrific it devastated the entire community. The accused man is a Channel migrant who entered illegally. Someone the system should have removed but didn't. One child's suffering became the moment the whole nation woke up. But here's what major news outlets won't say. This wasn't the only case. It's part of a pattern that has been building for years. A pattern created by broken promises, failing systems, and leaders who have abandoned their most basic responsibility. If you want honest, straightforward reporting about what's happening in Britain, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't water down the truth here. We don't look away from reality. People everywhere are asking the same question. How did it come to this? The answer is more troubling than many realize. Keir Starmer made a commitment. As Labour leader, he faced the cameras and promised to detain and deport every illegal immigrant. His words were strong and absolute. He insisted he would restore control of the borders, and that anyone here unlawfully would face consequences, with no exceptions. But his actions? Silent. While 150,000 people call for safety, Starmer has disappeared from the discussion. No press briefing. No strategy. No explanation. Just silence. And in politics, silence is a decision. Here's the truth the government avoids. Out of every 100 illegal arrivals, fewer than 5 ever get deported. The rest remain. Some offend again. Some vanish into the system. Some live in the same areas, same streets, and same neighborhoods as your families. Why? Because activist judges focus more on European human rights rules than British security. Because deportation buses get sabotaged. Because the system is set up to delay instead of deliver. Because legal loopholes are so large they might as well be open gates. And here's the painful twist. Laws originally designed to protect vulnerable people are now used to shield dangerous offenders. Criminals cite family life protections. Rapists claim persecution. And the system that should be keeping our daughters safe ends up protecting their attackers instead. This isn't real border control. It's border theater. A show meant to convince the public that action is being taken when almost nothing is actually happening. Our deportation numbers are embarrassing. Countries far smaller than Britain remove 5 times more illegal immigrants than we do. We're not failing by mistake. We're failing because the system is built to fail. Want proof that things can be different? Look at Denmark. They're in the same EU environment under the same pressures, yet their results are completely different. Denmark ended permanent asylum. They require migrants to reapply every 2 years. They expect full-time work within 6 months. They have real language testing requirements. They run serious cultural integration programs. The outcome? Asylum applications fell from 10,000 to 2,000 within 3 years. Crime rates in immigrant communities dropped sharply. Integration improved. Public trust rose. Denmark showed the world that political determination is stronger than excuses. And what makes Denmark's success even more impressive is that they face the same pushback Britain faces today. Activist groups protested. European courts threatened consequences. The UN raised concerns. Progressive politicians shouted accusations. Denmark ignored the pressure. They put their citizens first. And it worked. Germany acted after Cologne. Austria toughened deportations after Vienna. Even Sweden, once Europe's most welcoming country, changed course after years of chaos in Malmö and Stockholm. France, Italy, Poland, the Netherlands, the list keeps growing. Nation after nation discovering the same reality. Compassion without limits leads to disorder without boundaries. Britain now stands alone, the easiest target, the final stop for people denied everywhere else. Not because we can't act, but because our leaders choose not to. Not because the law stops us, but because politicians refuse to use the law they already have. The tools exist. The precedents exist. The public mandate exists. What's missing is courage. Meet James, a Royal Navy veteran who served 22 years. He worked on HMS Conqueror, part of Britain's nuclear deterrent fleet. He spent decades underwater protecting this country, knowing that a single mistake could trigger World War III. So what does he get in return? He now watches his two daughters, both university graduates, both law-abiding, both hard-working, become afraid to walk through London after dark. James dedicated his life to this nation. He paid his taxes. He raised a family with British values. He taught his daughters responsibility, discipline, and service. Now he watches criminals who broke the law the minute they arrived receive hotel rooms costing £150 a night. They receive legal aid packages worth thousands. They get welfare benefits his daughters can't access. And he sees a justice system doing everything possible to keep offenders in the country. I spent 22 years protecting Britain from foreign threats, James told us, his voice shaking. I was prepared to die for this country. Yet my own government is choosing foreign criminals over my daughter's safety. I kept my promise to Britain. When will Britain keep its promise to my girls? That question is being asked across the country. In homes, pubs, schools, workplaces, veterans' halls, and community centers. This is the moral failure that brought 150,000 people into the streets. The sense that the social contract is broken. That personal sacrifice no longer counts. That being a British citizen now feels like a disadvantage. James isn't alone. Thousands of veterans, police officers, nurses, teachers, and everyday working people, the backbone of the country, are saying the same thing. When did we become second-class citizens in our own nation? They're not getting answers. Just empty lines. Just excuses. Just silence. The crowd has 3 clear demands. And none of them are extreme. Demand 1. Immediate deportation of all foreign criminals. Number 5-year appeal process. No loopholes. No last-second European court intervention. If you commit a serious crime in Britain, you leave not later but right away. The Danish method works. It can be done tomorrow. The laws are already in place. The planes are ready. What's missing is the political will. Demand 2. Stop using hotels immediately. End the system that makes Britain the top destination. No more free rooms. No more cash allowances. No more situations where people on benefits live better than working families. Asylum seekers should stay in secure processing centers, not luxury hotels in London or Manchester. Fast-track real cases. Remove fraudulent ones. It's straightforward. Demand 3. Secure the border by any means required. Whatever it takes. Legal reform, judicial changes, new agreements, physical barriers, technology, or manpower. If European courts need to be challenged, challenge them. If human rights laws must be rewritten to prioritize British citizens, rewrite them. If diplomacy must be tested, test it. These aren't extreme asks. They are the basic expectations of a functioning government. The minimum standard for a country that takes its duty to protect its citizens seriously. Denmark did it. Germany did it. Austria did it. Sweden did it. France is doing it right now. Why can't Britain? Because our leaders seem more afraid of activists than loyal voters. They care more about international approval than British safety. They worry more about newspaper headlines than gang crime. Keir Starmer's silence throughout this crisis says everything about his priorities. This is the same man who once led the Crown Prosecution Service. A human rights lawyer who knows Britain's legal system inside out. He understands exactly what's wrong and exactly how to fix it. He knows the loopholes. He knows the judges. He knows the laws. His silence isn't confusion. It's calculation. It's hesitation disguised as complexity. Labour's official immigration plan sounds strict on paper. Temporary permits, work requirements, English language rules, and judges told to prioritize public safety. But what they don't admit is that none of it can actually be carried out. As soon as they attempt real enforcement, activist judges will block deportations. European courts will issue injunctions. Human rights lawyers, many of them Starmer's former colleagues, will flood the system with appeals. And Starmer, caught between working-class voters and progressive activists within his own party, will back down. We've seen this over and over. Tough words before elections, weak follow-through afterward. Promises made to win votes, broken to satisfy activists. That's not leadership. It's deception. This moment matters because public trust is collapsing right now. When veterans who protected the nation feel abandoned, something deep breaks. When police officers see the law protecting offenders more than victims, morale collapses. When teachers watch students become victims, respect for the system erodes. When 150,000 people fill the streets not to debate policy details but to demand that their government choose citizens over foreign criminals, that's not a protest anymore. That's a warning of what's coming. The British public is done with complicated excuses. Done with 5-year studies and endless reviews. Done with politicians acting as if public safety is optional, something to be weighed against international relationships or media opinions. People aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for effort, proof that their government values British children above global image, citizens above offenders, voters above activists. And the public is watching. Each block deportation, each exploited loophole, each time an activist has more influence than a parent, each crime that should never have happened if the system had worked. People are keeping count and consequences are coming. So here's the question Britain now faces. Will Keir Starmer and the Labour Party show the courage that Denmark showed? Will they put safety before ideology, British authority before European pressure, and citizens before criminals? Or will they remain stuck, divided, and fearful, hoping the situation calms down before the next election? Because this isn't going away. It's getting worse. Each week without action erodes trust further. Each crime committed by someone who should have been deported 3 years ago fuels more anger. Each court decision that values a criminal's family life over a child's safety widens the divide. James, the Navy veteran, summed it up simply. I spent 22 years protecting strangers I'd never meet. Now I'm asking my government to protect the daughters I raised. That shouldn't be a difficult request. But in today's Britain apparently it is. The social contract is straightforward. Citizens give to the country, and the government protects them in return. That contract is breaking. And when it finally collapses, what follows won't be another march. It will be something far bigger. The next few months will shape Britain's direction. Not in 5 years, right now, in real time with real consequences. We want your voice in this discussion. Leave a comment. Do you think Starmer's silence is a political calculation or a lack of courage? What would you sacrifice to protect your family? What do you do when your government won't act? And if you want reporting that doesn't hide facts, doesn't soften reality, and put citizens above politics, hit subscribe and turn notifications on. We're covering every update, every failure, every broken promise, and every preventable crime. Because the establishment won't hold itself responsible. So we will. The question is no longer what Britain can do. The tools already exist. Other countries have shown the way. The mandate is clear. The real question is what Britain will choose.